All right, so this has come a pretty long way. I made some really good progress since the last time I was working on this. However, I revamped some of the animation stuff. And when I did that, I broke some of the animations. So I'm trying to go back and make sure that the animations that I made previously still work. But I can finally turn off auto-playing. And like the options make a lot more sense for previewing and stuff. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good now. If these last few changes to the animations also happen to work well, then that would be pretty nice. But currently, this is like pretty broken. A little bit of me, I'm a little bit scared that some of this won't work as well as it's supposed to. I don't think it's supposed to be duration 1. I think this is supposed to be duration 0.3 as well. These are supposed to all go at the same time. So I created this web animation group, which if I'm lucky, this will allow me to animate these at the same time. I put a comma here. And looks like that didn't happen. Although, trace duration 0.3. Oh, I have this delay here. I think this isn't used for anything anymore. It might actually be better if I don't attempt doing this until after I polish the animation system some more. If this first trace is working, this one isn't for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. I'll try to at least get the axes drawn correctly. So draws the circle. This web animation group, this seems like it isn't running at all. Why? I'm gonna save this object, the positive x-axis, if I cleared out the draw range. This one. And it looks like I didn't. Yeah, I just added them. No, here's where I did a find replace. Pretty naive find replace to correct a draw to trace. I feel like it's biting me now. Okay, I think that's better. Although it's still not being drawn for some reason. Or is it? Just really quickly? Oh, I guess I'm not doing the rate function equals linear. For all of these, I want that to be true. I update this to 1.3. Why is this? I'm not sure why this is starting before this previous one finishes. Although that is actually what I wanted to do. But I don't know why it's happening in this case. Looks like right at 1. It's starting these. Which means the start time for this animation group must be off a bit. I'll look for a bit into how to fix this. But I don't know if I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to it. Start time for the animation is the minimum of the start time of all the animations. Okay, so I should start. I think the web animation group start time is whatever. Oh, self.start time. I'd expect this to be 1, but I guess it isn't. And this should be being increased by self.duration. I think in this too, I want to print the whatever, the start time. Yeah, let's see if that helps. I really hope this doesn't end up being a rabbit hole. Oh, this is the wrong thing. And none of that printed? Why? I did build it, didn't I? Yeah. Must be using some cached thing. I feel like this happens every time I don't reset this in a while. Let's say closing that, and then I'll rebuild it again. But this has to be being called. Both of these. Same story. Okay, I have to do something more obnoxious to make this. To verify whether this is working or not. Yeah, it's definitely using a different thing. It's gotta be cached or something. How annoying. Maybe we can just bring down the server. Okay, so this has got to not work, I assume. It still loaded a bunch of stuff. It couldn't load Manim though. Some of it I'm taking from CDN. Okay, then if I run that again. Okay, now it hits the error. I keep hitting the wrong key. Okay. So setting the start times to 0 and 1. Oh, then following that, there's this jump because the first render is always slower, and after that jump, it needs to recompute all of the start times, not just the first one. Animation start time is not or animation start time equals 0. Then it recomputes it. What it needs to be is that it recomputes it for all of them. In the case, the first time after t is updated from basically 0. So I have to do something like if t equals 0, I have to update all of these. Wait, animation start time is none. I need a different concept entirely. Because the first time that this isn't equal to 0, I have to update it, but that has to be the last time that I update all of them. It should be something like, maybe I can just have a like update all start times. And then like, if this is true, if this is true for this or, so this is one of the conditions for updating this. And when t equals 0, I still want this to be true. If t is not equal to 0, then I don't want to do it the next time. So maybe this is I should just make this true. Now this is to be actually a variable saved to the scene. So I need it preserved in between calls. So those will be true. And the first time that this is called with a value other than 0, I want to update them all, then at the end, set this to false. Okay, so all the times that it's 0, it's going to update them. The first time that it's not 0, next start time will be this. It'll update all of them. Then when it's not 0, it's going to change this to false. Okay, maybe this will work. Okay, this does what I expect. Great. I wonder if there's any simpler way to do this. It's probably not worth looking into. Data start times equals true. Self dot next start time. Next start time. So at the time that I change this to false, I'll also update this variable, next start time. Self.next start time. It's self.next start time is usually none. So it could be the case that instead of checking this at all, update all start times, I just check if next start time isn't none. And then, if I'm lucky, I won't need that extra variable. Okay, so that still works. Great. So now what I want to see is if I do this, for example. Okay. So that does what I expect. Wait, function equals linear. I do feel like I want that one to be faster. It does feel like it's going kind of like fast. But I can't tell for sure. Let me see. So this has a start time. So this 0.56 is the start time of the trace animation, and the next one is a start time of 0.96, which is 0.4 later. So that's correct. Okay. Do I want to print the end time of that? Maybe this isn't actually faster and I'm just... I don't know. I just think it is for some reason. I actually feel like that's too fast. Whatever. I am officially bike shedding. What I wish I could do... Actually, probably the reason... I probably want this to be slower. And then start the next animation before this one finishes. But I don't know if I feel like updating the animation system to handle that. Yeah. Could I have like an offset parameter, something like that? Maybe that wouldn't be so hard. I'm gonna get sucked into doing this stupid thing. So this equals 0 if t equals 0. Wait. If t is 0, then it's equal to 0, so that's t. If t isn't 0, it's equal to t. So this is just t. So can I just throw out next start time? Wait, does this even make sense? Next start time equal to t. This is like assuming that I guess all the animations are begun at the same time? Because if there's one call to play and then another one following that, then on that second one, I want the next start time to be not t. Right? Or maybe I would want it to be t still. If I update it for a bunch of them, and that was animated, and then I started for a new one, maybe this is right. I guess I'll keep it until something goes wrong. But now it's like, when is self.nextStartTime ever used? It seems weird that that would never need to be used. Like if I had one animation that was really long, then the next time I did a call to play, I wanted to have it run after that one, then that wouldn't work for sure. But I guess as long as I don't have a test for it, I don't really care. Since this is... So if I do multiple calls to request.play and then a single call to update animations after all of them, then this will work. But if I do one call to request play, update some of the animations, then make another call to request play, then in that case, I need to save the next starting time for sure. So I think this should be elif self.nextStartTime is none. Then this has to be t else. I think that's what it should be. So it'll be multiple times when t equals 0. All of those times next start time should be 0. Eventually it won't be equal to 0. It'll be something other than that. Then the next start time should be t. Following that, I'll start updating the next start time with the actual end time of the final animation. And from then on, new animations should we start it at that next start time? So I'm more confident in that. I'm sure it's still broken. But I'm just gonna make sure that actually isn't broken. Okay, so that still does what I expect. Let me take out the printing though. No, there is no printing. It just did an update again. I used to think this couldn't be cached, but now it's behaving as if it is being cached. Yeah, it's not updating. Man, what a pain. Why? Let's see, if I go to network, here it says it's disabling the cache, but it must not be. For Manim.data. This, where is it reading that? I don't see anything about caching. Oh well. I don't know if it's only has that disabled. Oh, it says while DevTools is open. So I just have to keep this open all the time. Oh, it's still printed that time. Let's see. Oh, that's in web animation. Oh, okay, the print's still here, thank God. Oh, not thank God. But now I see why that was happening. And now, if I close the console and restart it. Okay, now it doesn't do that, which is great. Now, do I want to fix the rest of this? Or do I want to actually keep working on the animation I was doing? I wonder if this still works. Okay, that's good. This is probably the most complicated one. Shift cursor is an attribute object. Yeah. Did I fix that in a later version? I wish I knew how to make this go to a certain line. But anyway, change this so that it runs on multiple objects. So I guess it's just be objects at 0. Really should just be self.ring. Like it works on, the animation runs on a ring. So I should just do that. Then mostly plays with self.mobject. I'll just put self.ring there. This one I messed up. Okay. Ring.radius. Mobject's at 0. Oh, I did it with this one too. So mobject's at 0, I want to do the same thing. Okay. Update function, this is also true. If I change this to take a mobject. I don't think I need it, I'll just update self.ring still. Okay. So it is working. But it's expecting the old syntax or whatever. So these two, I guess I want at the same time. Oh, it's doing the delays and stuff, yeah. This definitely won't work the way it is now. Something like this. That might fix the first part. Simultaneous. Oh, this is a group. Okay. Then I'll put a wait there. I'm pretty sure delay does nothing right now. It's just there. It's only assigned to variables, but it's never read. So, okay. I'll eventually want an offset. That'll just offset it from the starting time, the automatic starting time. But I do need duration. So this one, this delay I don't need, thank goodness. And this one. Okay. It looks right. And that looks right, yeah. So then those two, then I'll wait. Then this. Asian group. And I guess at this point, I'll probably end up going back and just fixing those previous animations. And the sine cosine thing too. We don't need this delay, don't need that delay. Okay. I'm actually shifting the line. But you can't tell because it's a line. That's cute. But I do want these to happen at the same time. I guess I can get away with not shifting the line, so I'll do that. Okay. Okay, perfect. That is perfect. The addition, that's what I wanted to do. Oh, and it might be inconsistent between this number line, or not the number line, but the modular ring and the one in the division example. So that could be annoying. But this is work. This is correct. This is correct. Oh yeah, this is correct. That's correct. And that's correct. Great. So fix that. I guess maybe I should fix this one. I guess so. It's just got so many animations. Oh, but to do this properly, I guess for now, I just won't deal with any of the offset stuff. I'll do that later on. Okay. These 3 fade ins? Wait, oh, more than 3. It's however many. But I won't have a delay here. And let me see if this works. It'd be really nice if I can just do that. Group. Okay, so that worked. What I should also do is go through and make it so you don't need any of these webs. So it's just animation group. Anyway. Do I still have autoplay turned off? Now I have it on. Okay, so that worked. It was way too slow though. Was that 0.4 of a second? Maybe if I have the fade-ins with it, that'll change the effect. That seemed like pretty slow though. Oh, I want these to happen at the same time. So it should be like this. Yeah, it's definitely slow. That makes me wonder if something else is up. Because there's another time I thought something was going too slow. Well, I guess the rate function isn't linear. So I'd make it look slower at the end? Let me see. So there, and then... Yeah, it definitely seems slow. I don't know. This is about how I think it should look. I'm actually curious now if this function, if the durations add up correctly. Let me see if I can do end. I think that's the right thing. Now if I export this to WebM, no, I guess not. What is the... There's some function I had to like stop the scene. Like finish or something? I have no idea. Must have been some callback here. On key down, mouse up, mouse move. Is it dot end? Well, I guess that's what I tried and it didn't work. Oh, it's stop. Okay. Great. And so I'll export a WebM and see if the length of this matches up. And it doesn't. This is a 1 second thing. This is half. Oh wait, half, a quarter, a half, and a quarter. Oh my gosh. So these two is a 1 second. Then this is a quarter and this is a quarter. So this is 1.5. And this says 1, so that's correct. Maybe I'm just psyching myself out. Okay. So then I'm gonna fade in basically all this stuff. Yeah. Well, those things aren't added. Self.array, cosine, sine label. Did I remove these? Self.array. Oh, wait. Yeah, here they all get added. So they have to be removed somewhere. I'm setting opacity to 0. So this fade in ought to fade it in. But it's not. Why? Oh, well, I'm fading in the V group. Oh yeah, I don't think that works anymore. Well, it might. Oh, wait, this, so when I put this V group here, that'll change the parent of all of these. Does that matter though? I guess this V group isn't added. So what if I do update parent equals false? Oh, same thing. Well, I won't try to do that. I'll try to just put the list here. Still. Why? Here's self.array. I guess I added a V group here, but I don't see why that would matter. Can you try just commenting? Oh, well, actually, that ray might be right on top of the x-axis. A lot of these things might be. Some of them should still be visible, though. Okay, so it's still not visible at all. Here's what I would do. Let's say C equals just a circle. Surely I can see this. Nope, just kidding. I can't see that. Why? Oh. The file is still in the WebM. Okay, that didn't make it, or maybe that did make a difference. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's a bug in like how the files are handled. So that might have even worked with the V group. But don't know now. Don't really care. Since that's kind of a hack anyway. Okay, great. Now This, no delay. Okay. Right. This takes some object now. Although it won't be used. Okay. Then I want this fade out and this fade in to happen simultaneously. It has this update function. Oh, I want this to be a group. Okay, didn't see that at all. Oh, I don't have simultaneous. Okay, that's what I wanted it to do. Okay, then I have to do that for 2 more of these animations. I'm gonna turn off the autoplay. I wasn't trying to do that. This will need a object. Okay, I think that should work. Oh, and simultaneous. Great. The object here. Or underscore. For both of these, simultaneous. Okay, I think that's all I need for that. Next one. And doing this. Then I'm gonna fade out, I guess, all of these. take out these delays. Can I do it this way? Just replace them with nothing. I can, great. I'm gonna see if this works with the V groups. And it does, so that's great. What is oh, this is gonna fade out the lines and shift the dots, which I do want to happen simultaneously. And I won't need those delays. Great. Then this. I guess I might as well do the rest of these. So close. Really, I can't wait until this isn't called web animation group anymore and I can just call it animation group. Okay, do that and do this. Also with no delay. If I'm lucky, oh, this should be... Then this is the whole thing. Without weights. But yeah. Great. So this works. This works. This is a work in progress anyway. But I really want to change web animation to just animation. And I don't think I'm importing the Manim, the regular animation stuff anyway. I only import from manim.opengl, not manim.star. And this doesn't import. This only imports web animation. So it should be fine to just call this animation. And one day, if I'm lucky, I'll just remove the other animations because it can't be used online. Oh, I guess this, I can actually set a specific rate function for this. Since we'll get saved here. Oh my gosh. I get saved here. Used an update. And this only overrides the update function, so I can set a rate function for an animation group, which is neat. For now, I'm gonna rebuild that. And then I'm gonna have to rename everything to animation. Just replace all and then do this. Yeah. Cool. Same thing here. I don't know how to... Okay, I guess that's saved. Wait, does it still say that? Web animation's undefined? Oh. Here. Wait, was that saved? Great. Okay. So both of these work with the new animation system. With that, I'm gonna start working on this again. Oh man, the modular ring thing. Okay, so first things first. Do that replacement. Then yeah, modular ring. I don't know if I did anything special for this one that I didn't do to the other file. Modular ring line 4. Or line 54. Okay. Alright, that's great. That's pretty much everything I wanted to do. I wanted that to do. I just want to make sure the rest of this matches up with the script. Here, okay. There's actually another number with that property, namely 6. But it gets even worse, because sometimes modular division isn't possible at all. For example, 5 divided by 2. Okay. So I'm gonna say... call that division investigation. Then I'll create another class. That's called... I wasn't trying to do that. Another class called times table. Why is this even orthographic seem? I'll just like pass for now. It doesn't even clear when I preview it. That's weird. I might have broke something. Let's see. Oh yeah, I definitely did. Okay, so now that just doesn't do anything, which is what I expect. It's like a multiplication table mod 8. Some numbers like 3 and 7 can divide any number, but others like 2 and 4 can only divide a few of them. Okay, so I have to write this times table, which is gonna be pretty annoying, probably. Because do a self-out play at the right of like ax squared plus bx plus c. Just do some random thing. Right is not defined. Imported star from Manim OpenGL. I change it to draw? That's weird. I'll just call it right. Also, I want this to be able to scroll past the last line or whatever. Great. Objects, that's true. Oh, I have to add this. I still don't see anything. Why? Does it even appear? Okay, it does appear. There's something wrong with the right animation. As usual. Weird. Starting alpha, less than alpha. Why would this have worked before but not be working now? Oh, wait. Updates the draw range and the fill RGBA. So at least the opacity should be updating. If I do like a fade in. Okay, that's annoying. So I need to get this right thing working. So I don't know if it's just sub alpha -5. It's multiplying that by 2. Let's take self object and alpha. I know this is something to do with the new animation system. but I don't know how. Okay, I'm gonna take out the draw range stuff. Actually, alpha. What is the I even used for here? I guess nothing. Oh, it's used for that. Okay. Yeah, so the fade-in works if I do something that simple. Well, this is taking a while to compile. Why? That's weird. Okay. Okay, so I'll try the fade in, does the same thing. I change this to right. It's only being called with alpha equals 0. Oh, it must be something with the startup times or whatever. It must be. But what ending time does it determine? Okay. So I'll print all the alpha values that it's called with. And the object. So the object and the alpha. Now I print its start and end time. I should have printed its duration as well. Should have done that. Okay, so for the entire thing, it was called with all these alphas. Which looks right, actually. For mob and self.mobjects, it's doing this. Taking the mobject family. This is weak. Okay, so it's being called with the correct alpha values. However, I guess the mobject family isn't being updated properly. And a subobject, I guess, to make sure this is being called with all the subobjects. But it should just be calling family members with points. Oh. Reversed returns an iterator, not a list. So I iterate through the list once and then it disappears. Okay, so what I think I have to do is get this. Object family dot reverse. Actually, I don't even know. Family members with points returns a list. Yeah, it does. Reverse that. And then I think this works. Iterators. Okay, now it worked, although the stroke width was really small. Great. And it wasn't because of the animation system, so that's good. I wonder I wonder if I want to make it so that it affects the stroke width. Like it'll automatically increase it. So what I need here is I have to do like x dot set stroke. Also, it should probably be linear or something. Like linear by default. I'll turn down the duration. Okay, so that looks way better with the stroke width. It's like not 0 or 1 or whatever it is by default. Maybe I should look at the original, or not the original, what the Manim community version of right. Man, there's so much stuff. Okay, so I think most of it's from draw border then fill. Okay, so it's gonna draw. Then at the same time that it fades in, it also changes the stroke width. Cute. Although this doesn't set the stroke width here. Maybe it's set by default somewhere, but I won't mess with that. So I have object to data. I have the family, the weight unit. The family and the weight unit. What I'll also need is like this object's stroke width. And then I'll update that stroke width like when I fade it in. So I go to set stroke. If width is not none, get family mob.stroke width. Oh, do you just set mob.stroke width? No way. Maybe I should just do... I don't think I want to use set stroke. I think I just want to update whatever the shader value is that gets read from that. There's gonna be like data at some random thing. Go here. Some object.data at stroke width. What I'll do is here I'll just set that to 4. Like so. Oh, no, this shouldn't be 4. This should be whatever it happens to be. So self dot mob mobject or mob. Which I think is 0 by default. Yeah. We'll set that. That's going to be the original stroke width. Then as part of begin, I'll set its stroke width. Do that default stroke width. And at the same time that I'm fitting this back in, I wasn't trying to do that. I'm going to use sub alpha, or I guess 2 times sub alpha, to interpolate between the current stroke width and the original, which I hope I know how to do. I should call this like fade alpha or something like that, to be this value. And this is just that fade alpha. And this is going to be what? Self that default stroke width times that fade alpha, or 1 minus the fade alpha. Plus the fade alpha times, this line is way too long. Wait, why does it not like that? Is this just a line continuation? Weird. Yeah, let's with self dot object to data. at the subobject at the stroke width. They formatted that really strangely. Okay, but hopefully this should interpolate from that default stroke width that I set here to the new one that I'm fading to. Although, there's some more complexity here. Actually, is there? For Mobject and Mobjects. Getting the Mobject family here. Then I'm going through each Mobject in the Mobject family, actually. So Mobject to data has an entry for each Mobject in the family. Oh no, for each Mobject it has a family and the weight unit. I might have to put the stroke width here and do a stroke width for each subobject. Actually, I do. I definitely have to do that. Fill RGBA. Oh yeah, I definitely have to do that. The only way this could work is if I had the stroke width would have to be up here. Object like this. And now when I'm fading in, I'll go from between that default and this one. Now that may not work because I'm setting the stroke width of the entire Mobject rather than the individual VMobjects or whatever. But if I'm lucky, that'll work. Also, I don't think it's a huge... It's too difficult of a fix to change that. Okay, I think that worked. It does in fact look like the stroke width is shrinking down, which is nice. Also, I kind of didn't think that would happen. Subobject.data at stroke width. Oh, it's being done for each Mobject in the family. Okay. Okay, but now I need to make an actual times table. Which I also don't know how to do, so... Tabular. Fairly certain this will fail if I just throw it at the math tech thing. I wonder if regular tech works. Why is it still formatted as math? I guess I can do... Again, tabular? Well, that did something. I'll just try to put A, ampersand B, ampersand C. And 4 backslashes? Actually, I won't need any backslashes right now. Well, I don't think that worked. Unfortunately, although it does say to do a begin center here. End tabular. And end center. Yeah, okay, whatever. So what I want to do instead is just do this manually. So I think I have... Okay, put this on the bottom. So this, I want a table with all of these. Actually, I can do this programmatically. So this should just be A times B for, maybe it's like this, A in range 8. Or B in range also 8. I won't have to do any of that. I just want to print this. So it makes sense that that's not right. I think this needs to be here. Okay, so that made more sense than this. Mod 8. Then we do for R in table. And R. Great, so this is exactly what I had here. Okay, then I want to like actually put objects on the screen related to this. Bunch of arithmetic animations. Yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a good time. Hopefully. I managed to get a bunch of it running already. Luckily. Did you study much number theory? Okay, so how should I do this? I think all I need to do here is make this a math, make these math tech objects of like string of this. Okay, so that's the array of math techs. Then I'm gonna want to move them into position. This formatting is weird. With the lists and the 2 for loops. So maybe what I want to do is say, so I'll stop doing the autoplay. For each row in this table, gonna say for just like math, didn't go to college. Gotcha, gotcha. Nothing wrong with that. I'll say for tech in row, what I'll need here, I'm gonna need the index. Did for a year and then dropped out. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there was... Actually, I work at Google, and one of the really senior engineers I worked with didn't have a college education. He just picked it up. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just say tech.model. It's going to be a translation. And in the x direction, this would be down times I, or just like negative I, and then in the y direction, it'll be j. Okay, then let me see if I can just add it. Add that to the scene and see what happens. Is it upside down or something? So this is the center of the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like the X is in the wrong direction. And the Y is in the wrong direction. Okay, so that looks right. So collapse this into its own line. Since it actually isn't that much. Now after that, I just need to offset all of these. Maybe these should just be in their own V group. I think they'll have to be, actually. Yeah, so let me try doing that. I do like table mob and make a V group. More fun and more quick. Yeah, if you know what you want to learn, then there's definitely a lot of extra stuff that you pick up at college. And like, I mean, most people would argue that's a benefit of it, that you're supposed to like pick up that extra stuff to be more well-rounded. But you know, if you're not trying to do that, then hey. More power to you. Okay, so it looks like this is doing the same thing. The difference being that now I should be able to say this dot model. Dyslexic and struggle in class setting. Yeah, that can make it more difficult. For sure. Yeah, I'm glad you still managed to make it. Or still managed to learn a good deal of math. Oh yeah, that should be positive. Now let me scale all of this down. Let's make that 0.8. I'll say like grid offset, something like that. Then I'll do I times that. Man, I really dislike rendering these scenes with a lot of objects in them. Okay, that looks pretty good. I guess if this is 8 across and that's 8 across, shouldn't this be... The width of this is 7 times self-dot grid offset. So this should be minus 7 halves times whatever. And it should be, I guess, positive 7 halves. Great. So I did that. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to actually play an animation of this. I don't know if I ever set the default duration of this, but I'll set it to 4. And I'll make it add it here so I don't have to add it there. And it is working. It's going in a weird order though. How could I fix that? I guess I could reverse the order of the mobjects. I don't know if I care enough though. Also, it looks like this changed the stroke width. If I just add it. Then I don't play this animation. Yeah, the stroke width is definitely lower. Man, that's annoying. I thought I updated this so that on the update function, when fade alpha goes to 1, so when sub alpha is 1, this times half will be half, multiplied by 2, that'll be 1. So this will be 0. This will be this times that stroke width, which is the stroke width saved here. I guess the problem is that the stroke width of each individual object isn't the same as the stroke width of each sub-object. That must be what the problem is. Maybe actually, I'll just print out these stroke widths. And it should be going back to like 0 or something like that. It might not even be worth debugging this right now. Maybe I should just get the animation done. And then deal with that afterwards. But right now, I'll print. Four. Oh, they're all stuck at 4. They're not decreasing. Okay, if I don't do that, table object dot data at stroke width. Oh, and that's 4. Yeah, so what I was afraid of is happening. I guess it's not a huge deal. Okay. I don't think this will be that hard of a fix. I think I'll need update by index to be true. But what I'll do... Oh man, that means I have to copy all of this. So do I want all of this? I think I want all of this. Yeah, duration equals whatever. Delay, offset, rate function. Not update function. That'd be weird. But begin, and add this, parent, and update by index, that'll be hard-coded to true. Great. So then this, I won't be past that object, I'll be past the index. Then I can do mobject, sub.mobjects at that index. Oh man, and that might have actually not been helpful. And I think it isn't. Because it doesn't matter that the mobject is passed by the index, I need the sub-mobject indices. So this for sub-mobject, I'm gonna need sub-mobject to data, sub-mobject to data at mob at stroke width. That's gonna have to be like an empty list. And then for each subobject here, I'm gonna append to that list. So say self dot mobject to data at mobject at stroke width dot append the subobject. Okay, the stroke width of the subobject. Okay, now when I come down here, I have this index anyway, and the stroke width that I want is going to be sub.mobject data at mobject at stroke width at this index. Sick background, thanks. I try my best. And I am fairly certain this will crash, because everything always crashes on the first time. Okay, but each submodule I have the index, the stroke width. It seems... well, I don't know any reason this would be wrong. Other than that, it's kind of complex. Great, it worked. I think it worked. Now it looks like the opacities are a little bit off. Which is strange. Like if I just add this, If I add the table object and I don't... Does it? I feel like I'm looking at it like it's such a small difference that it's hard to even tell. I think there is something with the opacity. Probably. And some object that data at stroke with. Why aren't they all at 4 at the end? Let me scale this. Table object. It does look like this one has less opacity than the one next to it. Whereas if I just add this, yeah, definitely. There's something up with the opacity. What a pain. And why would that even happen? So maybe what I should print next is this fill RGBA at 0 at 3. 0,3. Because that should be going to 1. Actually, definitely go to 1. Because when I finish the animation here, I update in time less than equal to t, then it does this. Wait, where does it know that it's finished? Oh, here it does that. Start time plus animation dot duration less than or equal to t. That probably shouldn't be done separately in 2 different places. It should probably be done once. And it should just read a flag or something. I think I was trying to simplify the code when I did that. Yeah, it's not going to 1. It's getting stuck at like 0.95985 or whatever. Which is weird. I wonder if the update function is being called with 1. And this, if I just print alpha, I wonder if it ever receives alpha equals 1. I'll have to remove that. Okay. So now it does receive alpha equals 1. So what? Why is that happening? For each sub-object, it's computing a sub-alpha. Here's what I should do, because this is doing some pretty complicated math to get an alpha which is specific to a given Vim object or sum object. Starting off with blah 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 blah. I'm gonna say if alpha is 1, which means this is the final iteration. Then I'm just gonna put the sub alpha to 1. Otherwise, I'll go through this computation. Okay, and then I'll go back and I'll print the fill RGBA data at 0,3. And now this should definitely go to 1. Right? So I guess even then, sub alpha is being used to compute. Oh, there's fade alpha, and then there's the one for the draw range. Okay, but I think this should make it fade in all the way. Oh, this is the wrong file. Oh, the wrong scene. This is the one I want to see. Okay, now it gets to 1. That's perfect. So now I'm not going to scale this up. And I'm not going to add this here. I'm not going to print that. And I'll just look at this. Does that look the same? I get the feeling that at this point I might just be psyching myself out. No, yeah, it looks the same. It looks the same. Now the only thing is that it's writing backwards. Oh, and it's printing, which I don't need it to do. Any more? So maybe... Okay, what's the order that I want this to write? I'd like it to go row by row. This is going for row and for I is corresponding to the row, J is corresponding to the column. Oh, but I'm doing this. Translation, and then I'm adding that one. I want J to correspond to the row. That's what I'll have to do. So how can I do that? Maybe what I want to do is just have for I in range 8. And then for J in range 8. What I want to do is the tech that I want is going to be table indexed at what? Is selecting the row, then the column. So wouldn't this just be IJ? Row I, column J. Okay. Great. Then I want this one's offset to be... Now X will be J. And Y will be negative I. Okay, and so now maybe it'll do it in the right order. Now it does it in the exact opposite order. But I think the reason for that is that the right animation assumes that the objects will be in the wrong order. In the reverse order. Because that's the way MathJax works for some reason. So what I think I need to do here is do table mobject. That's submobjects. Reverse. And then write this. No, it still does it. Darn. It's kind of weird that it would do that even if it's reversed, though. How does that make sense? I wonder if I can just add like a reverse. So here's the right animation. Here's where reverse is. Oh, it does reverse on family members with points. I'm gonna need a configuration flag like reverse that tells it whether or not that should be reversed. That's what I'll have to do. So now I have to copy this init function. And with this, okay, mobjects, duration equals duration, delay, sure, offset, sure, update function, no, begin, and add, move, parent update by index, shouldn't be able to pass that. I'll just keep that as a default. Okay, and I'll have it reverse, which is like true by default. Or maybe it should be false by default. So to do this stuff, so I put self.reverse is reverse. And now if reverse is false, yeah, if reverse is false, if not self.reverse, then I reverse it. Which is kind of weird. But the default is that MathJax is supposed to reverse things when I don't want it to. Or maybe this should be fixed somewhere else. I don't know. Okay, but now I'll put reverse equals true or something like that. And hopefully that'll write it in the correct order. But I want to make sure I didn't break writing it in the forwards direction. Okay, so that's backwards. Then I'll add the reverse. Here. Okay, now it writes in the correct direction. But what I want to check, I want to make sure if I write something normal, quote unquote, then I didn't mess that up. So let me not write this. And I'll just write something really simple. Well, first I'll format this. I really should figure out how to do auto formatting with Monaco. I know there's a way to do that. I'll just have x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, something like that. And just write this. Oh, and add it. Okay, and that writes in the forwards direction. The rate function isn't linear, though. It should be linear by default. So it doesn't look like it's rushing through it. Great, so that's perfect. Then this also works. Great. And that looks a little slow when it's like this. But when I export a video, I'll try to do 30 frames per second, 720p. Did it work? Okay. Anyway, if I export this video, it should look really smooth. And that's unfortunately probably the only way I'll be able to make this go smooth. Yeah, that looks pretty neat. Cool. Okay, but I don't want this to take 4. I'll just make this take like 2.5 or so. You know, I have to switch back to this. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. And now that I'm finally done with all the coding, I can finally look at the script. Although I could actually make this even simpler. Table at ij. Can't I just put math tech? I can put like this basically. Here? And then I think it's just I times j. And this might do the same thing. Yep. I am so good at programming. Okay, cool. So I have that. Let's see what the script says. I should probably have like a times or here or whatever. Like multiplication. There should be some header. I'll deal with that later. Some numbers, like 3 and 7, can divide any number. but others, like 2 and 4, 0, 1, 2, can only divide a few of them. So I'm gonna have to like draw rectangles around the different rows, which means I will have to have like the header or whatever. When I say they can divide any number, I have to add an extra sentence here. That says can divide any number because I feel like I'm thinking about this backwards. I have to write this out to think of it correctly. No, give me an empty... A divides B. What this means, I'll say like that equals X. What this means is that X times B is equal to A, or A is equal to X times B. So, some numbers like 3 and 7 can divide any number because they can be multiplied. How would I phrase that? Because there are other numbers they can be multiplied by to get every number. Now, I'll work on the phrasing later, I guess. For now, I'll just try to get the left and right whatevers. So I won't try to write this. I'm just going to add it. This will be a line. I'll just have it, I don't know, up times... What's the length of this? 7 times the grid offset? I'll just say the origin. Origin. So what I really want is up times 7/2 times that to down times 7/2. Okay. I think instead of 7/2, this should just be 4. Perfect. I think I have to shift that by 7/2 or whatever to the right. Oh, not to the right, to the left. It looks kind of too far for some reason. Oh, it's times that. That's what it should be. Okay. I'm gonna need something like Separator buffer. It can be like maybe 0.4. Great, that looks good. Okay, so that works for the right separator. Then I'll need an up separator. Or should I just add the numbers here first? For like 0 through 8? Or 0 through 7? Doing that placement seems really boring. If I'm being honest. But I guess I gotta do it. I guess it could be added to the same group as the table mobject. If it was, actually, let me make table be one V group. I'll add this to the table. And I'll add that to the table. And I'll do self.add the table. It looks the exact same. Which almost makes me think something's just wrong. Let me see what I find with this. Nope, it disappears. Oh, because I only... This should make it wrong. If I translate the model matrix of the table. Okay, now that's too far to the up and left. Wait, why up and left? Oh, should this be now origin to down times 8? Okay. And then I translate it to the left by how much? 7/2 times that grid offset sounds right, actually. Plus the separator buffer? I guess it isn't. Maybe it should only be 4? Oh, maybe I don't have to translate it at all. Okay. Although 8 is still... Oh no, 7 should be 7 since the distance between these is only 7. And then like plus some buffer. For now, I'll just move it into place, though. Like that. Oh, that should be left, though. This isn't even a right separator. This is a left separator. Okay, cool. Then I'll want to add the numbers over here that denote the actual entries. So, row labels or whatever. I might as well have this autoplay. Nah, I won't have it autoplay. That could be slow. And all I have to do here is for I in range 8. Tech is math tech. String of I. Tech.model. I want to translate that down. Times I times like whatever. Then add it to this. With that, I'm gonna do like table, but add row labels. Okay, okay, okay. So it needs to be translated left. Actually, I can do this with all of them simultaneously. Row labels.model is left times, I guess, twice the separator buffer. Also, this shouldn't be separator buffer. This should be grid offset. Nice. And then I should probably change the color of these. I'll just make it purple. And a brighter purple. Which I don't know if this is even brighter. Nope, that's darker. Okay. Maybe I should just... I'll go with A. Yeah, okay. I should use like complementary colors or whatever. So purple and green, interesting. Or purple, orange, green. Okay, but this is that left separator and the row labels, which I think I want to just call them left labels. Probably simpler. I should place all of those. Then I'm going to do pretty much the same thing with up. It's going to look really similar. Now this left separator is going to be... Actually, I'm going to do find replace. Left with up. I messed one up. I replaced the constant, but whatever. Pause that. Okay, this one's going the origin down. This should be going the origin right. The model. I think this should just be up. And same thing here. Okay, so we're gonna do this. I'll make this orange. I'll move them, offset them to the right. Add tech, up labels model, translate it up. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, there's no orange. Interesting. Red. Okay, so that kind of works. Although, maybe I want red B or something. Okay, then maybe I'll go with purple B. I don't know how harmonious these colors were ever intended to be. But that looks fine. Okay, now I think I just want to extend both these lines. So do here, going from the origin to down. Let me do up times this buffer. No, do down times whatever. I'll just add this buffer. Weird. Oh, down times, it had to be like this. Great. And this one is going to be left times this. Okay, so that should be left. That's gonna go right. This distance. Okay, so that actually works. Maybe I should go a little bit further up and left so that I can put the times symbol here. I think that'd make it a little clearer what it's conveying. Let's see if that's enough. Not quite. What I want is, should I just be grid offset? Well, I guess that's not enough. Which is a little strange to me. Okay. I prefer if it wasn't going off the screen like that. Okay. It's gonna be a random number. Between 0.4 and 0.8. We'll try 0.6. Maybe 0.5 will do it. Wait, how did... Oh. Wait, let me just see 1. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna do 1. So up for this one. This one will just be left. Great. Then I can put the time symbol. Multiplication symbol. Let's see where this... Okay, so it's there. I wish I had a fast way to pause this. Anyway, multiplication symbol dot model. X equals a negative. And y equals a positive. Great. Nice. Now I have this table here. I wonder what happens if I try to just write the entire table. I get the feeling this will look kind of bad. But let's see. Oh no, it actually looks good. It goes in the order I expect. I wonder if... Maybe it should be like multiplication symbol, lines, then the labels, then the table. So I've done add table, which that wouldn't be hard to do. Just everywhere I do table.add. I'll get rid of those. And now at the end here, go to table.add. Hopefully in order. Multiplication symbol. Left separator. Oh, I have to pause this. I keep wondering why the editor keeps lagging. Right, left separator, right separator. Left labels. Right labels. Oh, left separator, up separator. Left labels, up labels. Then the table object. Which this should just be times table. Yeah, okay. So I want to see how that looks as a WebM. It might actually... Staggering this some more would probably look a little cleaner. But I don't know if I care enough to actually do that. It's off center now. I guess this is actually 4 across and 4 high now. So these 7.5s, they should just be 8 or 4. Oh, I forgot I have to switch to main. Oh, now it's doing this annoying scroll thing. For some reason. And nope, that is too far. Is it off center? You had to be moved down a little bit. Seven half. Okay, so make that -6 halves. Okay, so that looks cleaner. And as for how far up, maybe that's just my 6 halves or 6 halves too. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot cleaner. 3, 6. Yeah, great. So I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna go back so that it doesn't do that scrolling thing. That looks great. Okay. Now, I ended up not making that much progress through the script, unfortunately, because of all the maintenance stuff that I did. But oh well, I got a lot done. Since this is already finished, I guess I mostly finished this, but not all the way. I guess a lot of my time got spent positioning this. That did end up being a fair amount of time. I wonder what would make that potentially faster. Maybe if at first I didn't try to animate anything and I just positioned all the objects, that probably would have made it decently faster. And then just try to animate that afterwards. Okay, but I'm going to stop it here.